TvGrace presents the inexpressible words of God, the gospel of grace, on the lips of Jesus Christ man. Abba, Father.
Well, let's start with Philippians chapter 1, verse 6, please. Philippians chapter 1, verse 6. Being persuaded from this, that he which hath begun in you the good work will perfect it until the day of Jesus Christ. That means that if you were called and the eyes of your understanding were enlightened to Jesus Christ transforms your body, that's going to stand. But that's a lot of security. It's a spirit of assurance. For example, Peter would tell you, Peter, I would tell you that the devil is like a roaring lion looking for someone to devour. So devouring means I might not make it to the end because I was devoured. Or John would say, because it is neither cold nor hot, I will take you out of my mouth. But then Paul says, I am persuaded that whatever happens to you, I finish what I started. These are two attitudes. It's like someone who wants to help you. You have a house, they are going to take it away from you. And at the moment, the bank, because it is very interested in your house and you are failing on certain bucks, says, look, you can lose it at any moment. But there is another bank that appreciates what you are because the boss knows you, the manager knows you and says, forget that I'm going to fight for you to keep this loan and to keep your house. And to keep your house. So there are two attitudes. Say attitude and spirit are the same thing. There is a spirit of sorrow and there is a spirit of joy. Now the attitude that the Apostle Paul has is because of the knowledge that the Apostle has and because of the gospel he preaches as a different gospel than the one preached by the apostles. For he says to you, look, I am persuaded of this, that he who began in you the good work, he will finish it. Come what may, he will finish it. Even if you go 12 months without paying the mortgage, I assure you that I will invent something there. I will throw away the mortgage something, but you hold your house. Then the next verse, the 12th. If you would be so kind and pass me the 12th so I don't have to use my humiliating verse 12. Look what it says. This is a letter that in sequence says, I want you to know, brethren, that the things that have happened to me, he's speaking now personal, that have happened to me, have redounded rather to the progress of the gospel. It is the same spirit. In other words, he begins to speak. Look, you know why I am persuaded that what he started in you, he is going to finish. Because what has happened to me, he has told me that it works for the good of the gospel. They are spirit of consolation. And what happened to him is not easy. He forced to blaspheme. He killed people. He sent to stone this one to a classmate in the law. Competition of the... And as Stephen was converted to Jesus of Nazareth, he sent him to kill him. And when they killed him, they brought his clothes to his feet. Here is Paul. We have fulfilled what you asked of us. And as a good Pharisee that you are, that you have a family, it is said that you met in the grace of separate from your family, from your wife. He began to violate principles, a criminal, separated from his wife. He did not remarry, but broke the family union. and countless other things he did. And now he says, now I understand, look, that the one who starts this in you, whatever happens to you, happens to you. You may suffer the most serious experience of your life. In time, you're going to see that it's all worked out for the good of the gospel, for the good of the gospel. That is a spirit. That is a spirit of security, not to do whatever you want to do to kill people or to leave your family. Because if you love it, you do not leave it. You support it, don't you? But it is to tell you that as far as your salvation is concerned, this emblem that we use, saved, always saved, there is no one who can change it. Our life is safe. Our future, our spirit is not going to end up in any lake of fire, as the religious groups of all denominations say. They think that after your death you can end up in damnation. Well, no. Even being in the body so safe, out of the body more safe, your spirit goes to the place where it came from. Whatever happens, happens. Now, for that, you have to be persuaded. Now, how do you persuade yourself with what is written? Not with what they say to you, is with what is written. The problem is that those of us who possess this spirit of this knowledge, the letter continues to write, and look what verse 28 says. Verse 28. And not at all intimidated by those who oppose, that for them indeed this ministry is a sign of perdition. But as for you, salvation in this of God. You know that of the churches speak very well in Miami. Of all the churches here, they speak well except for this one. You do not see that the spirit of security that we have tells people that in this ministry you do whatever you want and you will always be saved. And that is a reality. The only thing here is that you don't do whatever you want. You think you are doing whatever you want. These are situations that come into your life. That's why the Lord once said there in Luke, he says, let's just leave the blackboard alone. It's better than the blackboard. Luke 6:26, you'll be able to get there fast. Luke 6:26. Chapter 6, verse 20:16. Look how beautiful, woe to you when all of Miami
or all of Central America
or all of Rome speak well of you, because that is what their fathers did with the false prophets. That is in the times of Jesus in the house, woe to you, because he already knew that he was coming. You know that the churches here speak very well. Of the churches that speak perfectly well. And you are the pastor. Look, husband, only one wife. The sons don't dance, don't smoke, don't wear short skirts. The daughters don't even go to dances. Look, they are perfect and have a very good reputation. They speak well of all the churches, well, of growing in grace. So, you know, there are people who don't have the stamina. They are very weak-minded. And in this ministry, when they hear that so-and-so happened to him, this is the way, I don't go anymore. That ministry is very, very permissible. Very permissible. The apostle does not scold. The apostle does not call anyone's attention. The fact is that Paul never called attention to anyone, and when he did so personally and positively. I was called to teach the gospel, not to scold families. So look at what Romans 3:8 says, how they accused Paul, so that you have evidence in case you are going to stay here with me for a little while. I mean, if you have the pants and skirt, because this is for the brave. The kingdom of heaven is strong, and only the brave will take it. Cowards have no part here. Oh, and they are not even needed. And whoever is afraid should buy a dog or two. Pitbullito of those that squeeze. How does Romans 3:8? And why not say how we are slandered? And as some whose condemnation is just affirmed, that we say, let us do evil that good may come. Good, or let us do evil that good may come? Good. You know that of Paul they spoke thus. Now of no one else do they speak thus worldwide, only of us. And why do you talk about it, Apostle? Because the Lord brings it to my mind. You know that I hear about world situations in other places. I get emails, and everything is a criticism. They criticize, or they are aware that out of 1,000 sheep, one went down the ravine, and they say to the ministry growing in grace, one sheep went down the ravine, but they don't see 999 saying, I'm happy, my life has been made up. I'm treating my children well. I'm treating others well. One of the things that our mistakes helps is that you take the measure of those who say they are your friends and then treat you coldly when they know something about you that they think is bad, that for them, because they know you in the flesh, for them it's bad. But Daddy God is doing his strange work in you. And momentarily. That is why the Lord says, do not judge anything before the time. Not only doctrinally, do not judge that family before the time, because you do not know what the Lord is doing in this experience, in that experience. But the legalist, even if he is in grace, he mistreats you with gestures or greets you coldly. Blessed, blessed, but get out of there. You don't qualify for me. I am very good. Sometimes God allows everything, even in the best families. In this kingdom, there is everything to pull out of measure. But if your church has a good name, be careful that you have not already departed from the faith, for there is of you, when all men speak well of you, there are many. Look, judge nothing before the time on the experiences of others. That is why, when they told me that I was warning you about a month ago, I said to you, look, I have learned in this ministry that when they tell me something about someone, I stay the same, and I don't judge right away. I wait a month. 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. Or as God waited with Abraham. 25 years the baby came out. And Abraham doubted. He did 1,000 things. Now he laughed, he mocked, but God had a purpose. But when a fellow of yours, I'm talking about somebody else's experience, now I'm going to talk about yours, someone else's. When you hear, hey, you heard what happened between so-and-so, Zutan or Mengano. Do not judge anything before the time. Keep quiet. Do not participate with another. Don't say, look at this, I told you not to do that. Be quiet. Because the Lord is doing His strange work. Do not judge anything. Oh, but it is the Lord that worketh in you. He is the one who works in you. Sometimes He does bad things that for God are good, for you they are bad, but God sees it as good for the future. It worked very well for me to have separated from my wife. It worked for my good. But at the beginning, that could not see the apostle without that family. But where is that family now? And look, I love them, I talk to them already and I share. But it was not convenient because two will walk and they do not agree. They are enemies of this message. So at that time, I was applying don't judge anything before the time. But everybody started to judge and they spoke and I said, shut up. But then now they say no. It was necessary for that to happen. So it was God operating, but it was bad. It was bad for somebody. Now, says, no, it was good now. And why judge before the time? I have seen things. Thank God that in my human experience, God allows me to learn beautiful things with human beings. From the short ones to the tall ones of everything. But graduate in that. Don't meet people in the flesh. Be silent. Be obedient. Do not mistreat your neighbor the way Christ forgave you. Begin to forgive others. Here they fail a lot. Knowing the Bible is easy, covenant, this, that, well, blessed, all works well, works beforehand. I receive, I don't receive, I am rich. When they put a little test and sink like Peter. They are the experience of others. Try to get good grades because they're going to give you a test. And I hope you get 30. If you get 60, blessed, it's 30 to 100%. Hopefully, I hope you have a good measure because you know that the Lord works with precious stones, gold, silver, or there are others who are saved. But look, hay, leaf litter, wood, in his experience, they will give you here. A match falls on his foot, it burns everything. That one with the outside experience. Now with yours, so that you love yourself a little bit, don't judge anything before it's time. Look, Solomon says that when the serpent goes through sandy places, it leaves a track, and you can follow the serpent and see the track. But at the moment, there is a rocky place with many rocks, and the serpent goes up, and there you can no longer see the track because it goes over the rocks. And if your life is in Christ, the eternal rock, don't let the serpent hurt you so much. It passes and leaves its mark on you, but I also receive that it passes over the rocks and leaves no mark on me. Be patient, wait a little while, because he who began the good work, he will finish it, but be patient. Let him finish it, because this is a process of years. A long process. Take time. You took many years to damage yourself. Wait time to fix yourself, because the damage that was done to you was a lot. You are a religious, you are an abused sheep. Lamb abused. You are in the hurt sheep department from how much they lied to you all those years of hurt. In the cradle, you were teased at breakfast by your parents. They hurt you too. Look, they harmed you. And you need time. Today my vocabulary is getting richer. You've been abused, you've been hurt, you have everything. Your dad had revelation. Your parents, you believed that a home that knew this word. You are an abused, and abused people react. Abused people have an inferiority complex. They don't walk around fulfilled. And if you were poor, because there are sheep that were in homes, but if you were poor, even more so because poverty stultifies. Look, poverty raises in you envy, raises in you fights, competition that you are the best, that you are this. And they offer a series of complexes that in order to work with you, it takes years and years of patience in which you discover all that greed and all that poverty that walks with you. But when you have experienced what I have experienced, in all these years, I say I am convinced of the one who began the good work in you. He will finish it